Final chimney breast, final chimney breast, final chimney breast.
Is it time for vinyl chimney breast?
Yes, it's week 7, bands I've seen live only once. AC/DC Blow Up Your Video from 1988. This was actually my first ever gig. I saw the band on this tour at Birmingham NEC. It was a really great gig. Looking back, I think perhaps I was almost as aware of the fact that I was in a cavernous cowshed of a venue as I was of the band on stage, and it diluted the atmosphere a little bit, but we had a great time, we banged our heads and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, although this wasn't a brilliant album. I tried to like it as much as I could at the time. Hasn't really stood the test of time. A few good tracks on it though. Dokken I saw when they were touring this album. They were actually opening up for AC/DC on the Blow Up Your Video tour, so technically they were the first band I ever saw on stage at a big venue. It was really exciting when George Lynch ran on stage, launched into the riff to Kiss of Death, I think, which was the opening track from this album. And this is okay. I never really got heavily into this band, but I think this is considered one of their better albums. Europe I saw at Hammersmith Odeon in 1992, one of many bands I saw there on this tour. It was a great gig. They're a really great live band, tight musicians, good vocals. At the time I was a university student, so perhaps not all that aware of the realities of life, and I remember a guy rushing in late who stood right next to me wearing a suit and tie and thinking that he was really out of place, not probably thinking about the fact that he just rushed from the office to get to the gig on time. Kiss of the Gypsy I saw in 1992 in Milton Keynes. They were a kind of up-and-coming British band. There was a bit of hype around them at the time, particularly because they were managed by Barrymore Barlow from Jethro Tull, or ex of Jethro Tull, and they were signed to Atlantic, and this is a 10-inch single. Father Abraham and the Smurfs I've seen 17 times, including twice at Gargamel's Castle and once at a charity gig to raise funds to buy a stair lift for Father Abraham. Yngwie Malmsteen I saw at the Marquee Club in London on Charing Cross Road in 1994. I did see him one other time, but not at an actual live gig. He was just doing a guitar clinic at a music show. It was, let's say, an interesting gig. Joe Satriani I saw in 2004 at the Albert Hall in London. That was part of the G3 tour with Steve Vai's band, and Robert Fripp was opening up, which was probably the main reason why I went to the gig. I'd seen Steve Vai before, headlining on his own, and he was fantastic. It was an enjoyable gig. Fripp was amazing, held his own with Vai and Satriani when he got up to play with them in the encore, and Satriani's set was good stuff as well. Thin Lizzy, I'm going to cheat a bit. I saw the post-Phil line at Thin Lizzy when they reformed with various lineups. I saw them in 2000 in Shepherd's Bush. It was an enjoyable gig. It was very much a kind of metal version of the band, to be honest, with Tommy Aldridge on drums, John Sykes on guitar and vocals, and Marco Mendoza was on bass, Darren Morton on keyboards from the latter lineup of Thin Lizzy, and Scott Gorham was there to kind of keep things in check a little bit and give a little bit of flavour of how the band sounded back in the good old days. Van Halen I saw in '93 at Wembley Arena. Little Angels were the opening band. They were touring off the back of a major live album release, a double live album that had done really well. It was a really good gig. I was quite close to the back of the arena though, and long before the days of mobile phones and big video screens, there were several people who had brought binoculars along to watch closely as Eddie Van Halen did his guitar solos. Thanks for watching Vinyl Chimney Breast. All the music you can hear in the background is by See Through Head. You can find out more in the links under the description. Please click on everything, and I'll see you next week.